Hello and welcome everyone to a new Heroes of Might and Magic free video. In this one, I'm gonna be overviewing the new faction that has dropped on the New Year's of 2026 in Horn of the Abyss. Honestly, this is quite a bit earlier than I personally would have expected it. However, what a delightful surprise. We don't have the campaign yet, but the faction in its entirety is already playable within the Hoda. The menu has a new cool icon for you to click, and yeah, it is Bulwark, a very icy themed faction, and yeah, Fortress has a new competitor in terms of tankiness, because these guys are some of the tankiest guys that I've seen. All of the heroes kind of focus on tankiness, and also all the units are super tanky as well. If you ever just want to like not bleed a lot to fights, then this is the faction to play for you. The hero types are two. There's chieftains and there are elders. I do not yet know the ways for them to select skills, you know, like certain heroes can like roll logger more often, or certain schools of magic and so on. I haven't yet to see like the exact skill weights. However, from my experience, both chieftains and elders, at least in most one hero formats, end up leveling like really well. And they're like a very, I mean, yeah, there's a few standout heroes in here. We have a very special one here. There, where is he? There he is, Dalton. Dalton has shield specialty, making shield more effective on lower tier units, especially whenever you cast it. You can get in actual games very ridiculous situations where your shield makes your tier 1 units like literally not take damage from any hits. As in, they will be like receiving like 1 damage because it's reduced by like 99%, you know? Very ridiculous stuff. I haven't like this, you know, like stress tested this or saw how useful it's gonna be like in games. However, just like getting into like a utopia, I have tried and it feels really, really good. One of the heroes to watch out for here, for sure. Out of the chieftains, we also have some pretty cool guys. There's like a bunch of specialists for units, which are generally gonna be like really good. A standout option is gonna be Ergon. So if you're aware, Pathfinding was buffed so that it now removes like some of the... It makes your minimum amount of moves that you use to like step off road go from 100 down to 85. Ergon with the Pathfinding specialty is going to be knocking it down to 80 moves for an off-step road, which honestly could be very, very strong. It's just like more moon point efficiency, and whenever you give like more moon points to players and heroes, they're able to like make very good use of it. So Ergon is a very unique hero, you know, the only this type of specialty in the game of its kind. So that's also like very awesome. I have also like played with Spatum already as well. So in order to overview everything, we are just gonna be jumping into a game. We will not need any timer. We can just jump in here and see all that the faction has to offer. So I'm gonna be typing NWC Zion as a cheat code in order to have access to everything. And we have some really cool units over here. So let's just go over them one by one. First off is we have kobolds. Kobolds are very slow and clunky, one of the worst tier 1 units in the entire game, okay? However, they have their place and their function. They begin speed free, like health 8. So they are basically zombies, but on tier 1. Yeah. So whenever you have like any of these on your army, you're gonna be like moving very, very slowly. However, it usually tends to be worth it nonetheless, just because of how tanky they are. You know, they just kind of like sit there and tank up damage for you, and they can tank up more than most other tier 1 units. They also have the added benefit of generating 1 gold per day. I haven't really like seen this be useful. It's like, you know, it's like unique, it's fancy, it's flavorful, and you know, I like kobolds, but they're kind of bad. They are just like a lot of HP, to be honest, and not really much more. Moving on to tier 2 is we have our Gollies. When I first saw them, I thought these guys would be like the star of the faction in the early game. They bolster, I mean, yeah, they have like a very nice speed, a 7 or 8 when upgraded. They have like an okay amount of damage, and they have like a lot of HP as well. So I thought they would like stack these guys up and they would carry you for the early game, but not really. Their damage is like so lackluster that you using them as a power stack is honestly like kind of gimmicky. So they end up just being like even more meat. However, our Gollies have a new special ability that was not seen in Heroes 3 before. They are immune, I mean, you know, well, yeah, they are immune to ice, that's like whatever, like oceans are as well. However, adjacent enemies receive plus 20% spell damage. Now, this is a very big and unique bonus. You know, you can put your Argalies next to your opponent's units, you know, power stacks, and then suddenly you can blast them with spells far better than you could before. To be fair, I think this is like a little bit too gimmicky to actually like get good use out of, you know? Like it's gonna be very niche, very hard, but in some situations can be pretty cool, and there's like some extra synergy here as well that I will show you a little bit later when we get to one of the later units. Then the actual true hero of the early game in this faction is gonna be the Snow Elves and the Steel Elves. So these are very bulky shooter units. The biggest downside is that the fact that they only have 4 shots. When you upgrade them, they go up to 8 shots. And however, when you run out of shots, don't worry, because they have no melee penalty, and they honestly can like hit really hard in melee. They're honestly like a very strong, good melee unit with an upside of being able to like shoot some. That is genuinely how they feel in the game, because they're like so tanky, because their retaliation packs a lot of punch. Even when they're like exposed to enemies, they honestly will not even like block them very usually, and you can build them very easily on day 1, as they only require a little bit of wood and ore and gold in order to buy on day 1. So this is usually your like day 1 build. You just get them and you are able to, you know, just have like a nice good early game power stack. And when upgraded, they get like a very special bonus too. Can shoot while adjacent to an enemy creature. So they have both of the sharpshooter effect, but not quite. So yes, they can shoot while somebody is adjacent to you without having both the sharpshooter. However, they cannot shoot the thing that is adjacent to them. That's like a difference between this guy and both the sharpshooter, but it still feels really strong. Somebody like, you know, like comes to block your shooter, and imagine you just like shoot anyway, you like completely ignore them. And it's even hard to kill these guys as well, so there's actually like very little counter to these guys if you get like very many of them. They feel like super good to play, and these are the guys that you really want to be playing for in the early phase of any Bulwark playthrough. Next up is we have like kind of like outlier here, Yetis. So Yetis are not really like part of any like build path, okay? So you don't really like need to ever like build these guys in order to get to the higher tier units. So you don't usually build them unless you're building specifically for them. So if you're playing for Yetis, you're gonna be able to get like a very thematic unit. The reason why it's thematic is because they possess runes. I'm gonna be getting into like talking about runes after I'm done with the units. So until then, we're gonna be putting Yetis, you know, on hold. We're gonna be putting a pin in this, and we're gonna be coming back to them a little bit later. Next up is the Shaman, probably some of the best 1-stack units in the entire game, for they have the freezing shot. So you know how you can get like hit by Basilisk or hit by Manticore or Medusa, and then you get like stunned and it sucks, you know? Well, how about I offer the fact that you can, yeah, how about you were able to do that from actual range. So these guys can shoot things, and when they shoot things, they are able to sometimes freeze them. The freeze lasts for 3 turns, and they will be skipping 3 turns or until they're hit. So you can get some great crowd control from afar on like just a single 1-stack. These guys are great. Apart from that, they're also a spellcaster, and they can cast Air Shield on your army as well, making you immune, well, immune drastically reducing the damage of range units against you. So yeah, these one stacks are some of the best one stacks that we have available in the entire game. However, from my experience so far, like getting a power stack of them and playing for them is like not generally like a great idea. They are the squishiest unit in the entire Bulwark, and they really like stand out. Whenever you like are carrying these guys around, it kind of feels bad because it's like a very apparently the weak link in your army usually. So not as a power stack, but super great as a one stack. You'll just like be taking a few of these into like some key specific fights that you really want to have some help in. That's how that's gonna go. Then next up is we have what I thought would be a lackluster unit, but honestly like one of the heroes of the faction, the Mammoths. Mammoths are great because you get to build them out like pretty easily, and they are just like a flesh heap, okay? You get these guys, they have like 120 HP, they're pretty like slow, they don't deal a very good amount of damage, but they have an insane amount of defense skill, and you know, they're just like the bulky guys that are gonna be there, and it's kind of like hard to, you know, like whenever you like look at this, they're kind of like hard to use a little bit sometimes, at least you could like see it that way. However, that is not the case at all. Also, when they're upgraded, they become, you know, like armory boys, and they get extra defense skill when in defensive stance. This ability sounds good, doesn't really work, because you don't really want to be defending on your unit that is going to be like bulky and brawly. You usually want them to be actually like attacking and being proactive and doing things. Still though, they are the highest HP tier 6 unit in the game. Super tanky, great to stack up, pretty easy to stack up. And, you know, they would be like kind of useless like Hydras if it wasn't for the fact that we have another amazing unit. And that is the tier 7. And that is the Jotunn Warlords, or Jotunns. And these guys have also 2 new abilities that were never seen in the game before. One of these abilities is that they make the enemy flyers be less speed. So, you know, you have like these pesky Free Sultans reaching you in a single turn and covering all of your shooters. Well, no more. Jotunn is going to be reducing their speed from 13 to 11, making them not be able to reach you on round 1, which is like a massive deal. And even better, they have the ability to teleport your units. Okay? So if we were to take like 2 good beefy boys and we were to like go into a fight like halflings here, you know, it would be pretty annoying if they were to like just be shooting you as you're coming along there slowly. However, Jotunn can just click on the War Mammoths and just like put them there now. You know, suddenly they're like blocking most of the army here. They can hit here and can get re-teleported over to exactly where you need them to be. Mind you, Jotunns can only teleport infinitely whenever you upgrade them. Before the upgrade, a single Jotunn, 1 stack or however many stack, can only teleport once. So yeah, this is like a great combination of units. You just like get these big beefy boys and you put them exactly where they need to be in the battlefield with your warlords. It feels amazing, very strong, very good. And honestly, like just thematically and in terms of looks, I gotta say, like Jotunns are probably like my favorite units in the game. They don't hold like super great stats. Like 300 HP, great, amazing. Damage is like okay. However, where they really lack is their attack and defense skill. 2020 for an upgraded tier 7 is like not really that many. They wouldn't be able to like hold their own against archangels or something like that. However, their cool aesthetic, accessibility, and the very unique utility gives them like a really great spot in this faction, and I absolutely love them. I can't wait to play the hell out of them. So yeah. That's it for the roster of Bulwark. It is amazing. Then the other unique thing about the faction is going to be runes, okay? So runes work like this. You have a special building in factory called, not this, but like there's another one, something of the runes. Then you can click on this building and it will offer you, do you want Spadium to master the lore of the runes? Yes. And then you have a new skill, which is basic runes. Then we're gonna be leveling it up to, yeah, we're gonna be leveling it up using cheats, up to expert. so I can show you what it does. So whenever you go into a battle, you're gonna be getting like 1 rune level immediately into the fight based on the amount of like rune buildings that you've built out in your towns. Right now we cheated out the max build out of 2 towns, so that's why we get 2 runes immediately into the fight that will be giving us 2 attack and 2 defense skill. Whenever you defend, you're going to be getting another free rune stacks. This will be putting the effect of the runes up to 4 attack, 4 defense, and +1 speed. If you were to get hit, then that would give you an additional 2 extra rune, you know, like rune stacks. So that's why we started off with 2, got 3 from defending and 2 from getting hit. And whenever you hit something, you also get 1 rune slot, and you go up to 9 total. Whenever you're going to be at 9, then the rune bonus is going to be 6 attack skill, 6 defense skill, and +3 speed. As you see, we're already at like max stacks here, like pretty early into the fight, so it's not really that hard to stack up. And 6 defense, I mean 6 attack generally translates into expert offense. 6 defense generally translates into expert armor, and then you get another whopping 3 speed, making this a very... I mean, it's just like a super strong skill to have, because it just has like so much stats, so much value in it. But with a downside, and the downside is of course the fact that you can, you know, you have to like stack it up for it to give like the entirety of the bonus. If you were to like bring offense, you can like immediately hit with the full value. No such thing when it comes to like runes. However, it's a very good fit for the faction, because this faction doesn't generally die. You know, the units are just like way too tanky, and that makes you be able to like stack up the runes like pretty easily. So if you in some games don't really need like the day 1 elves, you can also like just pick up the skill on day 1. It's like a very cheap building. 2 crystal, 2 gems, and 1,000 gold. That's all you need in order to get like rune skill on your hero. What it does at like advanced and expert levels compared to basic is just unlock like more rune levels. So at basic runes you can only get up to like 3 stacks, then at advanced up to 6 stacks, and up at expert up to 9 stacks, and all of the benefits accumulate. So yeah, big thumbs up, amazing new skill, well designed, you know, just like a lot of strength, but with a downside. If you can conquer the downside, you're reaping more benefits. Just excellent design. I absolutely love it. Then, yeah, that's honestly like most of it when it comes to this faction. I feel like it is very fantastic, absolutely amazing. Wait, I'm currently like now trying to find the grail. I didn't pay attention. Where is it? Anyway, the grail gives you 20 defense skill whenever you defend down. So it's like the most defensive grail in the game, and you know, it's it's like par for the course for what the grails are, for what the faction is. Just, you know, makes sense. The mage guild goes up to level 4, so you're not gonna be able to like get dimension door here or anything. So it's like, you know, like a castle type mage guild where sometimes in a pinch it can like give you like something useful, but generally you're not really like playing this for the mage guild at all. You're playing for like the super tanky squad here. You know, like whenever you have like all of the army here, there's like usually almost nobody that dies easily. They stack up like the defense and speed for runes, and everyone is just like doing a lot of work here on this faction, and it feels great to play. And the chieftains are also like very defensive heroes, giving you like a lot of defense skill, and many of them start with armor too. And even the mage heroes that usually like have something defensive related as well. So yeah, I would say that this is probably the tankiest faction, overtaking Fortress in general tankiness, which is, you know, something that I never thought I would say, but that's amazing. It's now available to just be played. You just have to download the latest one, The Abyss, and it's gonna be like available for you. People are like trying it online, including me. I'm gonna be uploading videos of like, you know, experimenting with strategies on this faction, and it's honestly like been super great fun. I cannot wait for the entirety of the campaign of this faction to get to know this faction from a lore point of view as well. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick introduction to Bulwark. And yeah, I'm gonna be seeing you on the lobby or in another video. Cheers and see you next time.